Once a rainy evening, Amain Fujimiya trudged home through the heavy downpour. As he weaved through the crowded streets, his eyes caught sight of a lone figure, drenched and desolate. It was Ishina Mahiru, a girl seemingly caught in the storm of life. Amain, driven by an unexpected surge of empathy, extended his umbrella to shield her from the relentless rain. At first, he tried to ignore her presence, but the tears streaming down her face pierced through his indifference. Intrusive thoughts took hold, urging him to offer solace to this stranger. The next day at school, the consequences of his act of kindness became apparent. Amain, now suffering from a cold due to giving away his only umbrella, attracted the concern of his friend Itsuki Akasawa. The girl he had assisted, Ishina Mahiru, turned out to be a student at his school, an angelic figure excelling in both academics and sports, with a humble demeanor that captivated the admiration of many. Life took an unexpected turn when Amain, weakened by his illness, stumbled upon Sheena standing in front of his apartment. She held the umbrella he had selflessly given her the day before. Witnessing his condition, Sheena's genuine concern prompted her to offer help. Despite his initial resistance, Amain found himself being ushered into his apartment by his compassionate neighbor. As Sheena observed the state of Amain's living conditions, disappointment etched across her face. Unbeknownst to Amain, Sheena was not just a neighbor, she, too, lived alone. Taking charge, she insisted on him changing his clothes and prepared a warm meal. Amain's surprise at the delicious rice porridge unveiled yet another facet of Sheena's capabilities. She was not only an academic and athletic prodigy but also a skilled cook. Their interactions continued to unfold, revealing Sheena's routine of providing Amain with dinner each night. The layers of their connection deepened as Sheena expressed her happiness in ensuring her neighbor led a healthier life. One day, Sheena, visiting Amain's apartment to retrieve a container, couldn't ignore the lingering disarray. Concerned, she implored him to let her clean his room, a request he reluctantly agreed to. During the cleaning spree, an unexpected moment arose when Sheena, attempting to clean the air conditioner, found herself teetering on a shirt-covered surface. Amain's quick reflexes spared her from a fall, leaving Sheena pleasantly surprised by his unexpected heroism. In gratitude for her cleaning efforts, Amain treated Sheena to a dinner of pizza. To his surprise, Sheena admitted that it was her first time trying it. Raised with the luxury of a housekeeper, she had never tasted food from outside her home. The shared meal became a bridge between their worlds, deepening the connection between the two. Later, Amain noticed Sheena in the park, seemingly engrossed in something. Upon closer inspection, he discovered that she had rescued a stranded cat from a tree. Concerned for her well-being, he realized that she had hurt her leg in the process. Amain, ever the caring neighbor, fetched a first aid box and assisted in tending to her injury. As he handed her his coat and advised her to remove her socks for the bandage, Sheena displayed a surprised expression. Amain, with a nonchalant response, clarified that it was merely for practical reasons. He expertly applied ice and bandaged her ankle, showing a side of himself that went beyond the cluttered apartment. Carrying her back to their shared space, Amain's kindness didn't go unnoticed. Grateful, Sheena thanked him before retreating to her apartment. The following day, she returned the favor by providing Amain with dinner, expressing her improved condition and gratitude. Their growing connection took another turn when Sheena proposed cooking meals inside Amain's apartment. Despite initial reservations, Amain agreed, albeit with the condition that he would share the cost of ingredients. Concerned about the potential danger of being alone with him, Sheena assured him that she knew he harbored no ill intentions. The following day, Sheena arrived at Amain's apartment ready to cook another meal. As she skillfully prepared the ingredients, Amain found himself gazing at her, a thought lingering in his mind. Isn't this weird? She's almost like my wife. Unbeknownst to him, Sheena caught him staring and playfully teased him, questioning if he harbored any cultured thoughts about her. Amain, in a panicked state, dismissed the notion, urging her not to overthink. As dinner was served, Amain was astonished by the delectable feast Sheena had created. The shared meal became a ritual, and after indulging, they washed the dishes together, forging a routine that reflected the comfort of shared companionship. The next evening, curiosity sparked in Amain as he inquired about Sheena's activities. Sheena, confident in her academic prowess, revealed she was checking answers for the day's test, boldly predicting a perfect score. Amain, impressed, acknowledged his own proficiency but expressed a sense of inferiority compared to her. Sheena, in a hushed tone, disclosed having two conditions, leaving Amain intrigued. As she prepared to leave, Amain noticed Sheena's forgotten ID card on the desk. Upon inspecting it, he was surprised to discover that her birthday was just 4 days away. The following day, Amain approached his friend Akazawa and his girlfriend Chitose, seeking advice on the perfect gift for a girl. Clarifying that Sheena was not his girlfriend, Chito suggested a cosmetic item, a recommendation that resonated with Amain. On the night of Sheena's birthday, after their customary dinner, Amain presented her with a gift. Sheena, surprised, questioned its purpose. Amain simply replied, "Isn't today your birthday?" Sheena, taken aback, confirmed it but wondered how he knew, emphasizing that she hadn't shared this information with anyone in school. Suspicious, she questioned if he was now stalking her. Amain quickly diffused the situation, revealing that he had seen it on her ID card. Sheena, with a mix of surprise and suspicion, told Amain that he didn't have to give her anything because she didn't celebrate her birthday. Amain, earnestly, insisted it was a way for him to repay her kindness. Despite Sheena's initial reluctance, she accepted the gift. As Sheena unwrapped the first gift, she discovered a thoughtful hand cream. Amain explained that he chose it for its practicality, fitting seamlessly into her current lifestyle. Sheena, genuinely pleased, noticed another gift. With a hint of shyness in his tone, Amain revealed that the second gift was based on his impression of her and, if she didn't like it, she could discard it. The second surprise was a small stuffed bear. With a serious expression, Sheena assured Amain that she would treasure the bear and never think of discarding it. Amain, catching her gaze, quickly turned away, realizing his growing feelings. Inwardly, he lamented his momentary vulnerability, wondering if this signaled the beginning of deeper emotions for Sheena. The narration teased the audience about the possibility of a blossoming romance in the upcoming episodes. In an unexpected turn of events, Amain received an unexpected guest, his mother. Reluctantly, he allowed her into his apartment after some persuasion. Amain's mother, impressed by the tidiness of his home and his healthy appearance, couldn't believe the transformation. As she approached Amain's bedroom, he panicked and warned her about embarrassing things inside. The scene then flashed back 5 minutes earlier, revealing Amain's attempt to hide Sheena in his room to avoid any misunderstandings. Amain's mother, suspecting her son's deception, entered the room and discovered Sheena napping. Her surprise turned into assumptions, believing Sheena to be Amain's girlfriend. Amain clarified that Sheena was just a friend, urging his mother not to romanticize every friendship. As Sheena woke up, Amain's mother, assuming her to be Amain's girlfriend, asked for her name and requested that she call her Shihoko. Sheena tried to clarify the misunderstanding, explaining that she only cooked for Amain because he couldn't do it himself. Amain's mother, delighted at the prospect of her son having a caring girlfriend, was happy to see someone taking care of him. Amain, apologetic for the confusion, warned Sheena that once his mother got worked up, she tended to stop listening to explanations. Before leaving, Amain's mother asked for Sheena's phone number, adding an unexpected layer to the unfolding story. In a gesture of practicality, Amain handed Sheena his apartment keys before she left, citing the inconvenience of opening the door every time. She remarked on his seemingly indecisive decision. Amain explained that he trusted her and that she could keep the keys for now, emphasizing the trust he placed in their friendship. As Sheena departed, she expressed happiness at witnessing Amain's mother's care for him and acknowledged his luck in having such a concerned parent. The next day at school, the results of the earlier exams were revealed. Amain secured the 21st position with 985 points, while Sheena claimed the top spot with an impressive 1180 points. Celebrating her achievement at home, Amain treated Sheena to a cake. Sheena initially hesitated, stating it wasn't anything special, but Amain insisted it was a small treat for her hard work. As Sheena enjoyed the cake, there was a sense of nostalgia, almost as if she hadn't indulged in such a treat for a long time. She then surprised Amain by feeding him a piece of the cake with her own hands, creating a moment of unexpected intimacy. Christmas Eve approached, and Amain faced a request from Chitos to host their gathering at his house. Initially hesitant, Amain eventually agreed with the condition that they wrap up before dinner. He then shared his plans with Sheena, who, when asked about her Christmas plans, revealed that she would likely spend it alone, as her friends had boyfriends or had been rejected by her. Concerned, Amain asked if she would be lonely, to which Sheena sadly replied that she was used to it. Amain, caring for her well-being, suggested spending Christmas together, proposing to play video games. Sheena agreed, and the plans for their Christmas celebration took shape. On Christmas Eve, as they enjoyed their time together, the unexpected happened: snow began to fall. Chitos and Akazawa were shocked and went outside to witness the magical moment. To their surprise, Sheena appeared next to their apartment, explaining the story of their connection. Sheena clarified that their relationship had no ulterior motives and was rooted in gratitude and friendship. Akazawa playfully teased that they looked like a married couple, but Amain and Sheena quickly clarified their intentions. Amain, mindful of potential gossip, requested Chitose and Akazawa not to share this information with others at school to avoid unnecessary trouble for both of them. Understanding the situation, Chitose and Akazawa agreed to keep their secret, respecting the unique bond that had developed between Amain and Shina. Chitose, mesmerized by Shina's beauty, attempted to touch her face, but Amain quickly intervened, reminding her to watch her manners. Chitose, undeterred, asked if they could be friends, to which Shina happily agreed. After Chitose and Akazawa left, Amain apologized for his friend's manners, but Shina found their encounter enjoyable, appreciating the uniqueness of the people she had just met. On Christmas Day, as planned, Shina and Amain engaged in a video game session. Amain, noticing Shina's struggle due to her lack of experience, gently held her hand to guide her. Realizing the unintentional contact, Amain quickly stepped back and apologized. Shina, understanding Amain's intentions, was not upset. Immersed in the game, Shina accidentally fell onto Amain's lap, causing embarrassment. However, Amain found it endearing and laughed it off. After the game, Shina expressed her enjoyment, prompting Amain to give her a Christmas gift, a key case for the apartment key he had previously entrusted her with. Shina was genuinely happy and admired Amain's everyday clothing style, a pleasant surprise for her. Curious about how Shina knew about his style in middle school, Amain learned that Shina received a photo from his mother. This revelation left Amain worried about what else his mother might share with Shina. In return, Shina presented Amain with a Christmas gift, a scarf. Amain, delighted, complimented her on her cute smile, but before he could say more, Shina got embarrassed and covered his face with the scarf. Outside, Amain, feeling the cold, put a shawl on Shina, expressing his gratitude for the last 2 months. The following day, Shina arrived to cook dinner, but Amain noticed she appeared a bit unwell. Despite Shina insisting she was fine, Amain checked her fever and found it to be 38.4 degrees Celsius. Concerned, he offered to make dinner, but Shina, stubborn, wanted to proceed. Amain, not allowing her to strain herself, picked her up and asked where she wanted to rest. Shina, not wanting Amain to see her apartment, chose Amain's room. As Amain left, Shina, holding onto his trouser, wished him good night. To ensure she didn't leave the room, Amain held her hand and assured her he would stay until she fell asleep. The next day, Amain checked Shina's fever again and, finding it still present, prepared rice porridge and gelatin for her. Amain stayed by her side, patiently waiting for Shina to fall asleep. Before he could share the news with Shina, she fell asleep on his shoulder, still recovering from her fever. Amain assured her that with him around, she wouldn't be alone, expressing a blush and playfully commenting about not wanting to see the person he spent all his time getting sick. Amain encouraged Shina to sleep, holding her hand until she drifted off. The morning of New Year's Day, Shina was still asleep, and Amain gently woke her. He shared the news about his parents coming to visit. Concerned about Shina's health, Amain decided to let her rest on his bed while he slept on the sofa. Before going to sleep, he tenderly touched Shina's cheek, bidding her a good night. When Shina woke up, Amain informed her about his parents' arrival. Shudo Fujimiya, Amain's father, and Shihoko Fujimiya greeted Shina warmly and expressed gratitude for her care. Shihoko revealed a kimono she had bought for Shina and Amain, planning their first shrine visit together. Amain was stunned by Shina's angelic appearance in the kimono. Before heading to the shrine, Shina whispered to Amain that he looked good, causing him to blush. During the shrine visit, they attracted attention due to their stunning appearance, prompting Amain to hold Shina's hand in the crowded area. After the shrine visit, Amain and Shina returned home. Shina expressed to Amain that it was a wonderful day. The next day, Amain's parents, before leaving, made him promise to bring Shina to their home in the summer. Back at school, rumors circulated about Shina holding hands with her boyfriend. Classmates were curious about the mysterious boy, described as handsome but not from their school. Akazawa, aware of the truth, stared at Amain, who urged him not to reveal anything. At home, Amain and Shina discussed how to handle the rumors. Shina dismissed them by claiming the boy was just an acquaintance, deciding to wait for the news to cool off. Frustrated, Amain questioned why people would even think someone like him could be Shina's boyfriend, expressing a mix of confusion and disbelief. Shina, upset by Amain's self-deprecating thoughts, reassured him, emphasizing that she considered him a gentle, kind, and considerate person. Playfully, she even mentioned that he looked good in dresses. Realizing what she had just said, Shina covered her face in embarrassment while Amain continued washing the dishes to avoid any awkwardness. The next day, with Valentine's Day approaching, Chitose visited to seek advice on what kind of chocolate to give Akazawa. Amain, unaware of Sheena's plans, assisted Chitose, who was delighted to discover she was among the friends Sheena intended to give chocolate to. On Valentine's Day at school, girls were distributing handmade chocolate. Amain's friend Akazawa teased him about receiving chocolates from Sheena, but Amain claimed not to know. After school, Chitose gave Amain her special Russian chocolate, and Akazawa wished him well. Amain, noticing Katawaki struggling with multiple chocolate boxes, offered him a poly bag from home. Despite Chitose's chocolates not meeting his taste, Amain enjoyed the hot chocolate Sheena had made, finding it unusual for her. Sheena, blushing, admitted it was indeed for Valentine's Day, and Amain thanked her. Later, at Amain's apartment, Sheena left a bag behind the door containing chocolates she had made for him, expressing gratitude for his help. Amain, delighted, couldn't have been happier. The following day at school, Katawaki showed his gratitude to Amain for the help at home. Upon returning home, Amain found Sheena already inside, still embarrassed from the previous day's incident. On White Day, Amain dressed up and presented Sheena with a bracelet as a gift. Sheena was thrilled, but she discovered another item in the bag, a "do anything you want" card. Blushing, Amain explained that he thought one gift wouldn't be enough and considered the card a suitable addition. Sheena expressed her desire to use it immediately, asking Amain to put the bracelet on her. As he carefully placed the bracelet on Sheena, he found himself speechless, captivated by her beauty in that moment. Akazawa, after an argument with his father, requests to stay at Amain's house for a few days, which Amain agrees to. As spring break begins, Sheena makes dinner for both Amain and Akazawa, who is delighted by the delicious meal. Later that night, Akazawa expresses his happiness for Amain, noting the contrast between his unsociable image at school and the trust Sheena places in him. Akazawa even suggests that Amain and Sheena consider starting a relationship. Amain, without offering a response, goes to sleep. Upon learning that Akazawa has stayed at Amain's house and tasted Sheena's cooking, Chitose decides to stay at Sheena's house as well. After tasting Sheena's omelette rice, Chitose sends Amain a photo of Mahiru in a cute outfit, leaving him blushing. Akazawa, having taken Amain's photo as well, teases him cryptically, hinting that there's more to the story. After 3 days, Akazawa and Chitose prepare to leave, with Akazawa planning to stay with Chitose for a few more days. Amain expresses his gladness at seeing Sheena taking care of the gift he gave her. Sheena mentions the photo Chitose showed him, quickly covering her face and telling Amain to ignore it, leaving him confused. The next day, as Amain returns home, he witnesses a woman scolding Sheena. She reveals herself as Sheena's biological mother and expresses disappointment, stating that she'll never see Sheena again after her graduation. Amain, concerned, asks Sheena about the encounter. In his apartment, holding Amain's hand, Sheena shares the difficult truth about her family situation. Sheena explains that her parents married out of obligation, forced by their family's mutual interests. Her parents treated the house like a hotel, rarely being present, and only supported her financially. Despite Sheena's achievements, they showed no interest in her, and her bond with her housekeeper grew stronger over time. Her parents are not getting a divorce because neither wants to take responsibility for her, so they plan to separate once she finishes college. Deeply saddened by Sheena's situation, Amain learns about the day her mother told her she was an unwanted child, leaving her feeling devastated and lonely. Frustrated and empathetic, Amain covers her with a sheet, offering comfort. Sheena, overwhelmed, couldn't hold back her tears, and Amain hugs her, assuring her that she'll never feel lonely again because he is there for her. The next day, Amain, Sheena, and their friends go out for a walk, expressing excitement about the new school term beginning. As the term starts, they discover that all 4 of them are in the same class, bringing joy to Sheena. Amain, however, starts getting flashbacks from his middle school, causing him to be lost in deep thought. At home, Sheena notices Amain's worry and asks if anything is wrong. Amain denies it at first, assuring her that everything is fine. Concerned, Sheena pushes a little, suggesting that he can lean on her, just as she did before. Amain continues to refuse, and while Sheena doesn't force him further, she becomes supportive. To lift Sheena's spirits, Amain surprises her with a collection of stuffed toys, making her both surprised and happy. The next day at school, during a cooking lesson where students are asked to form groups of 4, Amain, Akazawa, Sheena, and Chitose end up in the same group. However, Amain's close association with Sheena raises eyebrows and causes discontent among some boys. During lunch, Katawaki approaches Amain and Akazawa, expressing his desire to become their friend. Amain, with skepticism, questions the benefit Katawaki seeks from the friendship. Katawaki, surprised by the question, clarifies that people make friends to understand each other better. Amain quickly apologizes for his blunt question. At home, Sheena feels jealous about other boys being able to approach Amain freely while she cannot. Amain, calming her down, pats her head and emphasizes the need to avoid risky situations to prevent misunderstandings. During a group cooking session, Sheena's culinary skills shine, and Amain, demonstrating quick reflexes, saves a fellow student from an accident caused by two mischievous boys. Amain, visibly angry, warns them about the potential dangers of fooling around in a serious environment. As the Golden Week approaches, Sheena uses the "anything you want" ticket. She requests a day out with Amain for shopping, followed by visits to a cat cafe and an arcade. Amain happily agrees, and during the Golden Week, as promised, Sheena teaches cooking to Chitos. Amain takes a nap, and upon waking up, he's surprised to find Sheena sitting beside him. Sheena, not wanting to disturb his sleep, stayed close. The next day, Chitos teases Amain and Sheena for their peculiar relationship. After eating the food prepared by Sheena, Chitos thanks her and leaves. While Amain and Sheena are sitting together, Sheena confesses that she squeezed Amain's cheeks while he was sleeping. Amain brushes it off, saying it's fine and that he would have done the same. As they plan to go out the next day, Sheena asks for Amain's opinion on whether she should wear a mature dress or a prim and proper one. Amain suggests a prim and proper dress, stating that it would look cute on her. Sheena promises to leave him speechless with her chosen dress. The following day, Amain is stunned by how gorgeous Sheena looks as they hold hands and go to a cat cafe. Sheena is excited to see the many cats at the cafe, and the coffee is decorated with cute cat latte art. She hesitates to drink it, not wanting to ruin the cuteness, but Amain encourages her to drink it and finds her concern cute. Amain takes a photo of her with a foam mustache. After playing with the cats, they head to a shopping mall where Sheena picks out a dress. While she's choosing, two girls approach Amain, asking him to hang out. Sheena interrupts, taking Amain away with a jealous look. They later go to an arcade, where Sheena wins a toy and gives it to Amain. As they are about to have a moment, Katawaki arrives and is surprised to see them together. Amain explains their friendship, and Sheena asks Katawaki not to tell anyone about it to avoid misunderstandings. The next day at karaoke, Katawaki asks about the previous day's events. Amain reveals that they were just hanging out. Katawaki expresses surprise, mentioning that Sheena cooks for Amain every day and that such closeness between a boy and a girl usually indicates romantic interest. He urges Amain to be honest and ask if he likes Sheena. Amain finally confesses that he does. After returning home from karaoke, Amain discovers that Sheena is hiding something. When he asks, Sheena reveals that Amain's mother sent some pictures of him when he was younger. Amain is embarrassed and tries to take the phone away, accidentally pushing Sheena down. Awkwardly, Amain gets up, and Sheena smiles at him. The next day, Sheena asks Amain why he decided to start living alone. While petting Sheena's head, Amain dismisses it as not a big deal, but Sheena suspects he's hiding something. She presses him again, and Amain begins to share his past. Born into a well-off family, Amain was naive and believed everyone was good. However, some so-called friends took advantage of him for his money, leading him to overhear them talking negatively behind his back. Frustrated by this betrayal, he changed schools and began living independently to start anew. Sheena expresses anger on Amain's behalf, stating she would have slapped those guys if they were present. She reassures him that he is a kind person and encourages him to rely on her just as she relies on him. Amain appreciates Sheena's support. The next day at school, two girls approach Sheena, asking about the guy she was with in the shopping mall. Sheena mentions he's a friend, and when asked if they are dating, she clarifies that while their outing could be considered a date, they are not an official couple. She emphasizes that he is the most important person to her. Amain is stunned to hear this revelation. Back at home, he questions Sheena about her statement. Sheena confirms that she was not lying, clarifying that despite a year passing, Amain remains the closest person to her, making her more comfortable around him than anyone else. The following day, Amain appears somewhat dead inside at school, prompting Chitos to inquire about the reason. Amain attributes it to starting an exercise routine, but he seems awkward around Sheena, unable to look her in the eyes. At home, Sheena questions Amain about his distant behavior in school, apologizing in case she unknowingly did something wrong. Amain, feeling uncomfortable, finally confesses that he had a lewd dream about Sheena, leading to his awkwardness. He apologizes, and Sheena, curious, asks for details about what she was doing in the dream. Amain, flustered, insists that she doesn't need to know, but Sheena comforts him, stating that having such thoughts is natural when spending a significant amount of time with someone of the opposite gender. The next day at school, students are informed about upcoming exams, and Amain's home becomes the venue for a study session. After studying and having lunch, everyone leaves. Amain secures the 6th position in the exams, while Sheena, as usual, secures the 1st place. As a reward for his improved results, Sheena offers to clean Amain's ears. She pats her lap, inviting Amain to lay his head there. Initially hesitant, Amain eventually decides to go along with it, enjoying the ear cleaning and finding it relaxing. Sheena then begins to play with Amain's hair, lulling him to sleep. When he wakes up, he finds Sheena asleep as well. Amain carries her to her apartment and places a stuffed toy next to her. The next day, Amain returns Sheena's apartment key. In a nervous tone, Sheena asks if Amain saw any photo frames near her bed. Amain, having not noticed due to the dark room, relieves Sheena. Early the next morning, Sheena wakes Amain up, excited about something different. Amain notices she is not wearing her tights and blushes, suggesting she not go outside without them. Sheena asks if Amain would stare at her legs, to which he refuses, citing discomfort. Amain expresses concern about Sheena being off guard and scolds her for showing him her bare legs during the incident. Sheena explains it was to gauge his reaction, and if he doesn't like it, she won't remove them. Amain, blushing, compliments Sheena's appearance but emphasizes the need for her to keep her guard up outside. Later, Sheena asks Amain and Katawaki for help in stapling sports day printouts. After completing the task, some girls express frustration over Sheena, but she remains calm. At home, Amain is still upset about the incident, but Sheena reassures him, expressing that not everyone in school has to like her. Sheena strives to be a good girl, but she finds it exhausting. As long as there's someone like Amain who appreciates the real her, she doesn't mind being herself. She puts her hands on Amain's cheeks and expresses her contentment with being herself around him, seeing him as a kind, cute, and cool person. Amain, unable to resist any longer, covers Sheena's mouth and kisses his hand, warning her not to say such words. Sheena responds by kissing Amain and leaves the room without a word, leaving Amain bewildered. The next day at school, both Amain and Sheena avoid making eye contact, and their classmates, Akazawa and Chitose, notice something has happened between them. Akazawa asks Amain for details, and Amain explains that due to some events, they are keeping their distance. At home, Sheena apologizes to Amain for the previous day's incident. Amain reassures her not to worry, taking responsibility for initiating the kiss. In class, Chitose and Akazawa are disappointed to learn that Amain and Sheena are on opposite teams for sports day, meaning they cannot cheer for each other. Amain asks Sheena about the event she is participating in, discovering that they are both part of the scavenger race. During the scavenger race, Chitose shares the questions aloud through the mic. Amain's question is to finish the race with the most beautiful person he knows, while Sheena's question is to finish the race with the person who is important to her. Amain and Sheena decide to run together, holding hands and causing a stir among the spectators. After the race, Amain faces questions from some boys who are curious about his relationship with Sheena. Amain clarifies that they are close but not officially dating. Meanwhile, Sheena enters the class and confirms that she likes Amain, shutting down judgments about his appearance. Sheena stands up for Amain, expressing that his personality and kindness matter more than superficial standards. Back at home, Amain is determined to confess his feelings to Sheena and not remain a coward. When Sheena comes and sits next to him, she apologizes for her actions at school. Amain, in turn, apologizes for being a coward for not confessing his feelings earlier. He expresses his desire to know more about her and spend the rest of his life with her. Amain gathers the courage to ask Sheena to be his girlfriend, and without hesitation, Sheena accepts and hugs him tightly. Well, that's all we have for you today. Don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on another video.